You killed my father, didn't you?
What are you talking about?
This is the bullet they took from him. Recognize it?
Oh my God.
What?
Well, this is the mark I used back then. That's the name. That's the way I signed my name.
This is insane. Where did you get this
Cruz
bullet?
knows, don't you? You don't deny that that is one of your bullets. You recognized it the minute you saw it. Harry had it sent to me, Cruz, after he died. I guess he thought it was time I finally knew the truth.
Wait a second. There's something I don't understand here. Personalized bullets. I mean, who does that?
Yeah, I've been wondering the same thing.
You never told me you were stationed in Baghdad in 1982. Did you really think that I would never find out about that?
Baghdad? That's where your father was?
Yes. Ambassador Charles Bedford, how can you pretend not to know?
God, of course. I didn't know. I never made the connection, Andrea.
Damn it, Cruz, you killed him!
No, hey, wait a minute, Kane. I did not kill the man.
Don't lie to me! You were there! That's your bullets!
Wait a second. Andrea, think
Richard
about
told me that you did it!
it. Richard hated Cruz. He tried to have him killed. If anybody's lying, it's Richard.
No, Eden, the man was dying. He had nothing to gain by lying to me.
If Cruz said he didn't kill your father, he didn't.
I was there! I was in the car when he was killed! He died in my arms!
It was a tan Mercedes, wasn't it? It was a tan Mercedes. He was riding with a Marine Guard and 2 embassy officials.
Yes!
Cruz. How do you know?
Harry and I were in Baghdad for 6 months in '82. Richard was the control officer. He called me one day about a hit. A certain U.S. official who had been selling information to the Soviets.
Oh, that's a damn lie. Don't you dare try to justify what you did.
Andrea, I am trying to tell you what Richard told me. Now, he had his own reasons, obviously. You and I both know they had nothing to do with justice. Will you just give me a chance to explain this?
We just want the truth, okay, man?
I'm going to tell you the truth. He was vague about the details. I got a little bit nuts. I told him I wasn't about to do anything blind. I had no idea at the time that the ambassador was the target. He was adamant. Yeah, there was no way that I could be fully briefed until the morning of the assignment. I gave in. I waited for a call. The morning that came, I waited for the phone to ring. I started feeling bad. I got a pain in my gut. I don't know what it was. It kept getting worse. I started sweating all over. It was appendicitis. I swear to God. Harry called the medics. They took me out to a boat in the Gulf, and I had emergency surgery, and I was on that ship when your father was killed. It's on the record, Andrea. You can look it up in the ship's logs.
Well, then who fired the shot that killed my father?
Well, I was laid up for about 2 weeks. When I got back ashore, Richard told me that the job had been reassigned. He didn't say to who. By that time, the event itself had made the papers, so I knew who had been killed. And I gotta tell you, I was real surprised because everything I'd heard about the ambassador up until then made him out to be an exceptional man.
Yes, he was. But that doesn't answer my question, does it?
Well, given the nature of the situation, I always assumed Richard killed him himself.
With one of your trademark bullets, huh?
Why would an agent use a marked bullet like that could be traced?
The bullets were a joke.
A joke?
They were a joke. Harry's idea of a little bit of humor. He had taken to calling me the Lone Ranger that year because of an assignment we were both supposed to do together, and I ended up taking it alone. On my birthday, he came up with this box of initialized bullets as some kind of gag. Obviously, I never intended to use them. Richard was at the party. He was... Well, I remember him laughing. He could easily have gained access to the bullets.
Well, I'm very impressed. It seems you have an answer for everything.
You asked me the truth. I'm sorry it doesn't bring your father back.
She did believe you. She'll investigate to be sure, but she knows you're not capable.
Not capable. I was efficient. I got those orders, and I executed them cleanly. I did exactly the same thing that got done that day. It was my job, you know what I mean? I mean, just the thought of it stops my heart in the middle of the night.
You were doing what you did for the good and safety of your country. You didn't know Rich was a double agent. You risked your life for what you believed in.
Well, a great deal of what I believed in was false.
You came to terms with that, didn't you? Didn't you? That's why you left.
Some things you don't come to terms with.
What?
I didn't even remember the man's name.
Whose name?
Charles Bedford, her father. The man was murdered under the auspices of my organization. I read his obituary. I blew it out of my mind. How many weeks has she been talking about this? Her father, the ambassador who was assassinated, and I couldn't even put it together.
It doesn't surprise me.
Well, it surprises the hell out of me.
We block things out of our mind we don't want to remember. When things are too painful, we tend to bury them.
I will never be able to forgive myself for some of the things I did.
Cruz Castillo, I know you. Not only who you are, but what you have always been. If you made mistakes, it wasn't because you were careless or callous. It was because you were trying to do your best. And maybe, just maybe, you went about it the wrong way. Forgive yourself.
Thank God for you, babe.
Andrea. Hi.
Look, Eden, sorry it doesn't begin to cover what I'd like to try. Is Cruz here?
Yeah. Come on in.
Thank you.
Well, listen, this is really between the two of you, so I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, did you, get the information you needed from the ship's log?
I wish I had taken your word instead.
Well, you're an agent. You know, the last thing you're trained to do is take anything at face value.
Look, Cruz, you have been very good to me. You took a chance on me when every decent instinct told you not to, and I don't feel that I have repaid you in kind.
Andrea, I know only too well what can happen to you when you've been living the kind of life you have. You see too many of your coworkers die, and you learn not to trust. Sometimes it's the only thing you can count on to keep yourself alive.
But still, I should have known. After I saw how hard it was for you to remember, and
I didn't know your father well, but I heard a lot about him. I read things about him, and he served his country well. What can you say? I feel terrible. His time shouldn't have been cut short.
No, I loved him so much. I miss him, you know. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry that he didn't live long enough to see the woman that you've become. Because he'd have been proud.
Feel better now?
Yeah. I feel like I learned something.
What's that?
Well, you look at Andrea and you see a person who's basically postponed her life. You know, all these years she's been directing herself toward one thing, and what does she get for it?
Yeah, I know.
And I feel like I've been tiptoeing around the same kind of mistake, you know? I mean, you and me, we go to Hawaii, we had our shot right there. We should have just gotten married when we got off the plane. Instead, I let something else come along and sidetrack me, and now just look at all this time that we lost.
But we're still together, and we're gonna get married. And that's all come from the fact that I am obstinate, and I refuse to let you alone for 1 minute. 1 minute.
I know. I'm an idiot. But this time, it's gonna happen, I swear to God. Nothing. No matter what, we're gonna get married. No matter what.
A week from Friday.
A week from Friday.
Mm-hmm.
If we have to stay in this house to make sure that nothing comes up to knock us off of that plan, then we'll just stay in the house.
We're gonna stay in the house.
Just to be safe.
Never go out.
Well, we have a phone. We can call out for pizza.
What could we do with ourselves alone in the house for 2 weeks?